All right, on tonight's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our generative AI course. Let's have a look at what we went over tonight. Now, yesterday I did get a little excited thinking that we were going to start the open source modules tonight, but we didn't actually get around to it. What I should have realized is that we were still connected to the open AI website, so that's why we don't have access to it yet. We were just using the SERP AI, the SERP API to connect to the Open AI website to actually access the information from a different point of view. But we're still trying to access it from the same point. That's why we don't have access to it just yet. So that's why I really don't have anything to run for you tonight. But I did try to. I'll show you when we get to the notebook. So we did take a bunch of notes that I don't feel like reading over. It's just going over more examples of how we can use different concepts to actually access the open API or the open AI that I don't have access to. So really defeats the purpose until we get to the actual open source modules or the open source models that we're going to be using. But yeah, I'll show you the notebook. I did kind of skip ahead and look at the Hugging Face website and see what's going on with that and how to implement some things. So yeah, I'm going to probably dive in that and say that tonight. I don't want to get too far ahead and probably contradict whatever I'm going to see in the upcoming modules. But yeah, I did dive ahead and I got some keys situated. So I do have some API keys for that website and I do have them stored. So yeah, when we actually get to the Hugging Face open source models, I will be ready. Or I might just go ahead and move forward and try it on my own, which I probably will. But yeah, so as you can see here, this is the code that we finished from yesterday, and everything did work perfectly fine. It's just that we don't have access to the Open AI. You can see right here, we're still connecting to the Open AI website. That's why we don't have access to it. But everything is running, and we can actually attempt to try to run it, and it will go through. It's just that it'll start working. It just won't return anything. You'll see we'll get an error. So as you can see here, starting to initialize, entering new agent executor because we're using agent. So everything's working fine. It's just that we don't have access to the actual model. So that's why we're coming back with this error here. Let me show you. And it says here, this error is incorrect API key provided. That's because I'm using the SERP API key here instead of the Open AI key. I'm using the SERP API key here because I assumed that we were using a different, or there was going to be its own open source model, but it's not. It's actually just like a different workaround for the Open AI source. So that's why we still have it here because we're still going through the Open AI website. So if I wanted to actually get that code removed, I would have to put the Open AI key here. But again, using that key won't be any different because we don't have access to the Open AI website modules either. So yeah, but everything is running. It's just that we have to get to the proper location and get the proper what do you call it there? Get the proper models that we're going to be using. So you can see here, so everything went through perfectly. Entering new agent executor chain. So we started the chain, we just couldn't finish the chain because the chain didn't have access to the model because we put the wrong key in. Like I said, we would have to use the Open AI key, which wouldn't have made any difference because we don't have access to the Open AI models either. So yeah, so I'm just gonna be patient and move forward bit by bit, and hopefully we'll come across those open source models sooner than later. But like I said, I'm gonna dive in behind the scenes myself anyway to start tinkering around with it. I do have the keys for the Hugging Face website, so I'll probably start doing some things tonight just to get a feel for it. So when we do get there, we can just breeze right through it. But of course, I will keep you posted every step of the way. For now, it's the Python Poppy. You guys stay Gucci.